you got to tell the guys some numbers on what you sold your company for. Get them all excited on what the upside is and why someone should be talking to you.
Good point.
Right? Let's create some credibility here.
Well, here's the thing interesting about it, because I tell people that, what I sold the business for. They say, oh, wow, you're like that guy from some Snapchat or those guys from Instagram. I said, no, man, we actually made money before we sold this business. I mean, we were making, by the time we sold the business, a profit. I mean, the top number might have only been around 40 million a year, but the bottom number was about 16. And we were putting that in our pocket. So it wasn't like, we went to sell a company because, wow, we came with this great idea and sold it. We sold the company right about 100 million. And luckily at the time, because when we discussed earlier what time was about to occur, it was cash. So that made a big difference, because the end of 2006 and in mid 2007, the entire subprime industry took a crap, and for a long time. But it was good, and we've sold other small companies as well, some smaller companies, but that was the big one. And but as I just want to say, it wasn't one of those Instagram type things. I wish I could do that tomorrow, but haven't been that lucky in my life. selling
a company for $100 million in cash is pretty good, man.
Most of it's buried under the house with me where I'm sitting right now. I just keep it every year. I dig deeper hole.
That's great.
I got $40 left. Literally $40 left. That's why I'm trying to get out here and do more stuff. This costs money right here, so we can make this kind of quick. I'm paying for the internet right now.
That's great. So take us through when you were going through the process of selling the business, right? We talked about building up your list, having data, and then you now are able to sell this business for $100 million. So proof is in the pudding, right? So how many names did you have that you were able to now sell this business for $100 million?
Well, interesting. And as you and I discussed a little earlier, names were different back then. We utilized our list a little bit different. It depends what you're doing. Subprime credit was and was hot, really big, and it was hot. We probably had about active, we had more names that we go back and mail every once in a while. We probably had about an active list of about 5 million names. But, the ones we're really making money on are probably about 20% of that. But these were just, what was so interesting about these people and why this was so good and why it's great advice to anybody who's getting in this. Your vertical that you are in is the most important thing. Like, people talk to me all the time. Well, I got this great idea for a product, and they tell me that. I say, it's great, but the most important thing, at least for me, get in a vertical, get in a market where there are multiple things you can sell. Like, or new mothers. There's always going to be new mothers, and they grow into, teenagers, teenage kids eventually. Get into a market where your data can be used over and over again. If you're just selling some unique product that's a one-time sale, you're going to have a problem. Our data back then in this company was subprime credit, which represented a huge percentage of the people on the internet at that time. If you needed a credit card and you weren't subprime, your bank is sending you offers all day long for great products, and you buy them. You had subprime credit, man, you needed stuff. You couldn't rent a car. You couldn't get an auto loan. You couldn't get auto insurance. You couldn't get anything. So what was so interesting about ours, the vertical was so large and so wide, not just deep, it was so wide. We were able to really monetize that data. We have people, probably at some point we give to you, some other people all over the place that actually, we had partners that would monetize our data for us. And I remember one time, this is true, sitting back, it was in the heyday when things were going well, and realizing that day that we had 60 million pieces of email going out on our data that day. Oh, no, it was that week, 60 million pieces of data. I said, well, that's not bad. And, at the time I was thinking, I remember I was on the beach and I was half drunk sitting in a beach chair thinking, wow, that doesn't suck. Well, it's not bad. Yeah. So the data is important. And it is important, not just because the money you make on it, as you just mentioned, but that was the asset. And that was the important thing, help selling that company and help increasing the multiples, was the fact that we had an asset like that.